We in ESB are very aware of safety. We have to be. We are delighted to be associated with this DVD on child safety. Children are by their nature curious. They explore the world around them. As they grow, they become ever more curious and more adventurous. Watch this DVD together as a family or with friends, and think about what you are watching. Watch it again later, perhaps in a month, or even in a week, and review your attitudes to safety. Not just for yourselves, but also for the generations that are to follow. Enjoy this DVD.
Children both need and want to explore their world. It is up to us as parents and guardians to make sure our children's world is as safe as possible. The good news is that 9 out of 10 unintentional injuries can be prevented by thinking safe and acting safe in everything we do. This will help ensure that children grow up in a safe environment. The aim of this DVD is to guide and support you, parents and guardians, to make the necessary changes in your homes and surrounding areas that will promote child safety and help prevent unintentional injuries to children. The DVD will identify the most common causes of unintentional injuries to children within and around the house, as this is where more than half of injuries occur in the 0 to 5 age group. Overall, this DVD aims to give a greater awareness to parents and guardians on how making small but important changes to our thinking can help us make the necessary changes that will create a safer world for our children. Children are naturally curious and will therefore explore the world around them. The more mobile they get, the more adventurous they get. But all around them, particularly in the comfort of their own homes, there are many seen and unseen dangers. Certain injuries can occur whatever a child's age. However, children in the 0 to 5 age group are most at risk of injuries in the home, with 1 to 3-year-olds experiencing the highest number of injuries. Therefore, it is very important for parents and guardians to anticipate children's developmental stages and to prepare for them. It is also worth remembering that at every developmental stage, boys are the most injury prone. As the saying goes, boys will be boys. This DVD is divided into sections based on the most common causes of injuries amongst children in the home and its surroundings. The sections are road safety, prevention of falls, cuts and bruises, burns and scalds prevention, poisoning prevention, choking prevention, fire safety, water safety, farm safety, guidelines to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, cot death. The Safe Cross Code, basic life support and first aid, and how a child makes an emergency call. Learn the emergency phone numbers 999 and 112 and teach them to your children. We strongly recommend you and your family attend and complete a first aid course. First aid courses are run in many local community areas throughout the year. Road safety is a very important safety subject that we need to guide and teach our children about. It is something they can and need to carry with them throughout their lifetime. As parents and guardians, we need to ensure they are properly equipped with the knowledge and skills that will help enable them to be as safe as possible. In many cases, our children look to us as role models, and leading by example is the best way we can pass on valuable safety messages. Sadly, in Ireland, half of the children under 15 who die every year from unintentional injuries die on our roads. As road users, it is extremely important that we should always expect the unexpected, especially where children are concerned. Because of children's different sizes and their unpredictability, drivers need to take extra care and pay special attention, particularly in places such as housing estates, local shop routes, school and play areas. It is important to teach children to be safe pedestrians from a very early age. The following are examples of how we can do this. Teach them the Safe Cross Code and reinforce it by practicing it with them.
1, 2, 3, safe cross, 4, 5, 6, safe cross, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, safe cross, close.
Remember,
1,
look for a safe place.
2,
Don't Don't hurry, stop and wait.
3,
Look all around and listen before you cross the road. Remember,
4,
let all the traffic past you.
5,
Then walking straight across you.
6, keep walking.
That's the safe cross code. Safe place, stop and wait. Safe place, stop and wait. Safe ground, look around. Listen for a traffic sound. If traffic's coming, let it pass until the road is clear at last. Then walking straight across the road.
Keep watching, that's the code.
Remember,
1,
look for a safe place.
2,
Don't hurry, stop and wait.
3,
Look all around and listen before you cross the road. Remember,
4,
let all the traffic past you.
5,
Then walking straight across you.
6, keep watching.
That's the safe cross code. That's the safe cross code. Know the safe cross code.
Know the code.
Young children should never cross the road alone, as they do not understand danger and cannot be expected to think safety at all times. Also, their small size makes it more difficult for drivers to see them. Carrying out practical safety demonstrations with your child can greatly help to get important road safety messages across to them. We recommend that you go out walking with your child in your local area and discuss potential hazards that you may encounter. This will allow you to find out what your child deems as safe and unsafe, and what safety messages you need to reinforce. This will help your child to think safe because you act safe. Safety on buses is another area we need to guide and teach our children about. Bus safety advice needs to include how to get on and off a bus safely, and the importance of standing back on the pavement until the bus stops. How to be seated safely using seatbelts where fitted. The importance of remaining seated while the bus is travelling, and to store bags under the seat or behind their legs. When getting off the bus, the importance of standing behind the driver's white line until the bus has stopped, and to wait until the bus is driven off and traffic is clear before crossing the road. The importance of never trying to cross the road behind or in front of a bus or any vehicles. As drivers, we need to take extra care, particularly in areas where children congregate. This includes the following. Be extremely careful when driving and parking near schools and highly populated areas. Watch out for children when reversing into or out of driveways, and when parking outside the home. These are areas where children often congregate and play. Take extra care when driving through housing estates, where children are often out and about, as they could run out in front of you at any moment for any reason. Never double or triple park in these areas, as it can increase the risk of injuries and fatalities to children and pedestrians. Be extremely careful in shopping centre car parks. It's often easy for an adult to be distracted, loading shopping into the car, and for a child to wander off. As a rule, and where practical, when parking, always reverse in and drive out of a parking space slowly and carefully. As a parent or guardian, we need to also emphasise the importance to our children of being seen, whether as a pedestrian or a cyclist. Ensure they wear brightly coloured clothing. Provide them with helmets and footwear with reflective strips. Place reflective material or strips on backpacks and bags. Encourage your children to wear additional reflective vests, ankle bands, wrist or arm bands, and bicycle clips. Provide them with a torch and spare batteries. Giving your child practical demonstrations on the importance of being seen further promotes children taking this crucial message on board. This can be demonstrated in a safe area in your neighbourhood at dusk. Show the significant differences between the visibility of a person in bright and reflective clothing as opposed to someone in dark clothing with no reflective material. Then start up a discussion with your child about the dangers of not wearing bright or reflective material. If safe and possible, try and do this demonstration from different distances and angles. Allow your child to see from within a vehicle the difference between a person wearing dark clothing and bright clothing. This will highlight to them what a driver can and cannot see. This will further bring home to them that even though as a pedestrian you can see a vehicle, this does not guarantee that the driver can see you. Explain also how weather conditions like rain, fog or snow can greatly reduce a driver's vision of other road users. Cycling is both a healthy and active exercise that should be encouraged and promoted in our children. But safety needs to be the most important part when teaching our children to cycle. Cycle safety advice includes the following. Children under 12 should always be accompanied by an adult while cycling on a public road. Always ensure that you and your child wear a cycle helmet. It will help to protect your head in the event of a fall or collision. Children need to be taught that a bicycle is a vehicle and therefore they must follow the same rules as other road users. Teach them the key rules of the road. Ensure also that the bicycle is the right size for the child. Cycling a bicycle which is too big or small can affect one's balance and can be dangerous. Make sure the bicycle is in good condition and safe to cycle, with brakes working well and wheels and tyres in good condition. Make sure also that the front and back lights and reflectors are properly positioned, clean and in good working order. For extra visibility, add reflectors to the wheels. Make sure the bicycle is fitted with a bell. Fit the bicycle with a bike bag or panniers to allow safe carrying of items, and teach your child how to place the items safely and securely. As mentioned in the previous section, ensure both the cyclist and the bicycle is highly visible at all times. Provide your child with bicycle clips and teach them how to use them, and also the importance of not getting clothing caught in the chain or wheels. Safety in cars is paramount for both adults and children. Each year in Ireland, approximately half of child deaths occur on our roads. 2 out of 3 children killed or seriously injured in car crashes were not properly restrained. The following are key points for child safety in cars. All children should be properly and safely restrained in a car seat and seatbelt when travelling in a vehicle. There are 4 different types of car seats that your child will require to use from birth up to when they reach the correct height and weight that allows them to use a seatbelt only. The 4 different types start with a baby seat, then a child seat, then a booster seat, and lastly a booster cushion. Choosing the correct one is dependent on the weight and height of your child. Do not use age as a guide. When buying a car seat for your child, ensure also that it conforms to the United Nations standard. Check for the safety standard E number. Is suitable for the child's weight and height, not age. Is suitable for the type of car. Is correctly fitted according to the manufacturer's instructions. It is safer to fit child seats in the rear of the car. Check your car model to see if it is fixed with ISOFIX points. ISOFIX points are fixed connectors built into the car's structure, onto which a car seat with an ISOFIX fitting can be easily plugged. Child seats with ISOFIX fittings are less likely to move around in the event of a collision. Never fit a rearward-facing baby seat in the front passenger seat of a car if an airbag has been fitted. A rearward-facing car seat suitable from birth to 9 kilograms requires a lap and diagonal seat belt, also known as a 3-point belt. Do not buy or use a second-hand child seat unless you are sure of its safety history. Use the child seat for every single journey, no matter how short. Don't let your child graduate to using only a seatbelt too soon. It is essential for child safety in cars that a suitable child seat is used until the child reaches 150 centimetres, that's approximately 5 feet. Ensure that your child is safely and properly strapped into the car seat. You should only be able to slide 1 finger between the harness and your baby's chest. If you can turn 2 fingers sideways, then the harness is too loose. Drivers have a legal responsibility to ensure passengers aged under 17 use a seatbelt, or that a child uses an appropriate child restraint. Limit the number of children in your car to the number of safety belts in your car. Sadly, most children under the age of 14 are seriously injured or killed on our roads while travelling to and from school. If you're involved in a car crash while travelling at 50 kilometres an hour, an unrestrained person would be thrown forward with a force 30 to 60 times their own body weight. Always replace a child seat if the car it was originally in was involved in a crash. This is important, as the car seat could be damaged or weakened, and often the damage is not visible to the naked eye. Never hold a child on your lap. In a crash, the child could be crushed between your body and part of the car's interior. Even if you are using a seatbelt, the child would be thrown from your arms. You would not be able to hold on to them, no matter how hard you tried. Never leave children alone in a vehicle. Always make sure when leaving your vehicle to remove the keys and to lock it. For more details on child safety in cars, please refer to the booklet and DVD Child Safety in Cars. This booklet is available by contacting the Road Safety Authority. For advice on first aid and basic life support information in regard to road incidents, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid. It is important that we encourage and promote play in our children, as this promotes healthy development and exercise. Trampolines, bouncy castles and climbing frames are some of the many popular types of play equipment that children love to play with and be active on. Yet all of them present their own potential risks. It is therefore very important that children are only allowed to play on play equipment suitable to their age and developmental stage. Supervision of your children at play is very important, as is ensuring that safety features are an integral part of play equipment, whether in public places or when purchasing them. For example, safety net on trampolines, helmets and protective guards. Always make sure play equipment is in good condition. When purchasing play equipment, ensure it is of a high quality and safety standard. Only buy equipment with the safety symbol such as the CE mark. Always make sure play equipment is assembled and secured properly, following manufacturer's instructions. In the first year of a child's life, falls are often the result of babies rolling over and moving for the first time. So at this stage, never ever leave baby alone on raised surfaces, as they may roll and fall. Avoid baby walkers, as they can overturn easily and cause serious head injuries. Ensure baby is safe and secure in all baby equipment by always using a safety harness. Never ever leave a baby bouncer or carrier on a raised surface. Always use stair gates at the top and bottom of the stairs and ensure they are secured correctly. Use anti-slip mats in the bath. As your child develops and gets more independent and begins to walk, be aware of their need to explore and climb, but also be aware that they do not understand danger. Some of the advice already mentioned still applies, but it is also very important to be extra careful and aware of the following. Ensure that floors and stairs are kept clutter-free and replace any missing banisters. Secure all windows with window restrictors that don't require tools for opening. Avoid placing furniture near windows and other areas to discourage children from climbing to dangerous areas. A low bed with a safety rail is recommended when baby moves from cot to bed. The majority of cuts and bruises that children receive are as a result of play and are very much a part of growing up. These can be easily treated with some basic first aid. But some cuts or bruises can be more severe and result in a child requiring further treatment. It's important that we encourage and promote play in our children, but in order to reduce and prevent situations that could result in serious cuts or bruises, there are a number of precautions that can be taken. Always keep sharp objects out of a child's reach. Televisions, bookcases and heavy equipment can often be freestanding and insecure. Make sure these items are positioned and secured in place, as children tend to pull at them or push against them. Store sharp and dangerous objects such as cutlery, scissors, etc. in a drawer with cupboard safety locks fitted. Fit child safety items like corner cushions over the corners of furniture to help prevent your child injuring themselves bumping off sharp edges. A door finger guard can also be fitted to the tops of doors. This will prevent doors from closing completely and saves children from injuring, breaking or losing their fingers. For advice on first aid and basic life support information in regard to falls, cuts and bruises, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid. In the home, nearly 3/4 of burns and scalds in children under 5 occur in the kitchen. These unintentional injuries are most likely to happen at mealtimes. However, there are many other ways and areas within the home that children can be of risk from burns and scalds. From hot drinks to cookers, from matches and lighters to lit candles, all these present potential risks of burns and scalds. Almost 3/4 of all burns are from hot drinks. And it's very important to note that hot drinks are still hot enough to burn up to 15 minutes after being poured. So what can we do as parents and guardians to reduce and remove the risk of burns and scalds from children who are just too young to recognise the potential dangers?
When looking after babies in their first year of life, always guard open fires and heaters with both a fire guard and a spark guard. Secure the fire guard to the wall and never place anything on it. A spark guard helps prevent sparks from leaving the fire, and a fire guard covers the complete fireplace area and greatly helps to prevent your child from gaining access to the fire. That is why it is particularly important to have both in position and to ensure the fire guard is secured to the wall.
Excellent stuff.
When preparing to bath your child, always run the cold water first and use your elbow to check bath water temperature. Keep hot drinks out of baby's reach and never drink or hold hot drinks when holding baby. When preparing bottle feeds, always use the inside of your wrist to check the temperature of the food. Avoid using tablecloths as children tend to grasp and pull at them. Never smoke around your child. This not only presents a potential burns risk, but also serious health and fire risks. Switch off and unplug all electrical appliances when not in use. Always keep matches and lighters out of child's reach.
As children become more mobile from approximately the age of 1 onwards, most of the advice already mentioned still applies. But it is also very important to be extra careful and aware of the following.
Keep all electrical equipment out of your child's reach. Use a cooker guard for protection and always cook on the back rings when possible. Turn the handles in and away from child's reach and view, as they are a tempting sight poking out over the edge of the cooker. Always make sure candles are in a proper holder and placed in a safe place out of reach of children. Never leave a lit candle unattended. Avoid moving lit candles. When preparing the bath for your child, always run the cold water first. And as with babies, test the water with your elbow before putting the child in. Chip pans are very dangerous. Avoid them altogether if possible.
The following are examples of child safety equipment available in many retail outlets throughout the country that can help parents and guardians keep their child safe from burns and scalds.
A spark guard, a fire guard, a smoke alarm, a cooker guard, and cupboard safety locks. For advice on first aid and basic life support information in relation to burns and scalds, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid.
In Ireland each year, unintentional poisoning among children under the age of 5 leads to 1,000 hospital admissions. There are all too many instances in which an unsuspecting child, innocently exploring their world, can result in them unintentionally poisoning themselves in and around the home. Most incidences of poisoning among children occurs between the hours of 7 and 11 a.m. in the home. Children are most at risk of unintentional poisoning from medicines that can be bought over the counter, prescribed drugs, household cleaning agents, toiletries, garden and DIY products. By putting simple but safe measures in place, we can greatly reduce the chances of our children coming into contact with these poisons. To further prevent and reduce the incidence of unintentional poisoning among children, please do the following.
Always read and follow carefully the instruction labels on medicines. Keep all medicines in their original child-resistant containers and locked away in a medicine cabinet or locked press. Never keep any medicines in a first aid box. Return old and unused medicines to your chemist. Store household chemicals and cleaners in cupboards that are out of reach of children and fit the cupboards with the cupboard safety lock. Never use soft drink bottles for storage of any item or substance that may be harmful to children. Clear out and properly dispose of household chemicals and substances on a regular basis. Always store chemicals like weed killer, white spirits, turpentine and other chemicals in a locked shed. Clean out and properly dispose of chemicals like those just mentioned on a regular basis. Watch out for and remove any poisonous plants that may be growing in the garden. Always buy toys that have a safety symbol as in the CE mark and only give toys to children that are suitable to their age and developmental stage. Remember, some toys or items could contain paints or colourings that may be toxic to young children. Beware of handbags left unattended. especially when visiting others or when relatives and friends come to stay.
She's out playing golf again.
Children, both boys and girls, love to explore handbags, and many types of medicines and poisonous substances are often found in handbags. For advice on first aid and basic life support information in regard to poisoning, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid.
Babies and children have a natural tendency to put things in their mouths, whether it's food, peanuts, toys, marbles, child cords, ribbons or belts. All of these things present a choking hazard, with food presenting the biggest risk of all. With babies and very young children, there are specific safety measures that need to be taken. Avoid using strings and cords around baby's neck, and avoid buying children's clothing that contain ties or cords. Curtain cords can also be a choking hazard. Throw away worn or torn soothers or teats. Never use pillows for babies, particularly in the first year of your child's life. Always feed baby in adult's arms. Never leave baby alone while feeding. Remove bibs after feeding. Always use the toy code. Use the right toy for your child's age and development stage. Throw away broken or torn toys. Look for the proper safety marks on labels, such as the CE mark. Keep toys tidy and clean. Be careful of older children, as they may share unsuitable objects like marbles or smaller toys with your baby. Even though a lot of the advice already mentioned still applies when your children enter the next stage of their development and become more mobile, you should also include the following safety precautions. Never leave children alone at mealtimes, and ensure their food is cut up appropriately and that the texture is suitable to your child's ability to chew. Keep small and unsuitable items such as marbles, buttons and coins out of children's reach. Avoid children's clothing that has cords, ribbons, straps or belts. Never allow children to play with cords or strings. Be aware of the possibility of children getting their limbs trapped or caught. Always ensure your child is secure in an appropriate child seat when travelling. This helps prevent the risk of them getting their limbs caught in the vehicle's windows or doors. Keep plastic bags and cling film out of your child's reach. Never allow children to run with sharp objects in their mouths. Do not allow your children to eat in bed.
Now, Astrid, what did I tell you about eating in bed? Come on. You're not allowed to eat in bed, okay? So we put that over there. Have some drink of water.
For advice on first aid and basic life support information in regard to choking, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid. Where fire is concerned, prevention is one of the strongest messages we need to teach our children. Ireland has the worst record in the European Union for child deaths due to fire, according to the European Child Safety Alliance. Familiarise yourself with the 4 golden rules of fire safety in the home that are in the booklet Fire Safety for Your Home, and put all the rules into action today. This booklet is available by contacting your local fire prevention officer or the Department of the Environment. Install working smoke alarms in every room, although an optical smoke alarm and a heat detector are more suitable in the kitchen. Check your smoke alarms at least once a week and replace the batteries when necessary. Ensure your smoke alarms are cleaned regularly and kept clear of dust.
You know, if we ever have a fire in the house...
Make a fire escape plan and practice it often with your family. Keep escape routes clear at all times.
If there's a fire... Oh, okay.
Do not stop to investigate any fire, get out of the house, call the fire service and stay out of the house until the fire service tells you it's safe.
Okay. And straight out?
Yeah.
And do we ever go back in?
No.
Never go back in if there's a fire.
Check for fire dangers in every room of your home and correct them. 3/4 of fires start in the living room and bedroom between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Carry out a last thing at night routine, which includes switching off and unplugging all electrical items, except fridges and freezers. Do not leave any electrical items on standby. Check every room and close all doors. Keep the keys for your exit doors in the locks and ensure all escape routes are clear before going to bed. Other precautions include always guard open fires with the spark guard and heaters with the spark guard. The fire guards should be secured to the wall, so if the child falls against them, they are secure. Position candles in a safe place away from drafts and fabrics, and always out of a child's reach, as the slightest touch can often knock them over, and always avoid moving a lit candle. Always keep matches and lighters out of a child's reach. They are very tempting things to play with and can cause terrible injuries. Chip pans are very dangerous, so avoid them altogether if possible. Children have a fascination for sockets, so always use socket guards and turn off switches when not in use. Keep a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher in the house, preferably in the kitchen, and learn how to use them. Make sure that the extinguisher is tested annually. As we have previously advised, the key message is only attempt to put out a fire with a fire extinguisher or a fire blanket if it is safe to do so. Using a fire extinguisher is relatively easy. When using a 1 kilo powder extinguisher, use the following steps. Place your finger in through the ring of the pin, then either pull the pin or twist the pin around. Either method will break the plastic seal holding the pin in place. Aim the extinguisher low at the centre base of the fire. Squeeze the handle, and finally sweep across the base of the fire from side to side. It is not necessary to be right on top of the fire. If you are not making any headway with the fire, leave it and go to the nearest exit. Using fire blankets on an oil fire. A fire blanket should be positioned on a wall away from the cooker. Pull the fire blanket by the exposed straps from its packaging. Hold the straps firmly and rotate. This will protect the hands and arms from the heat and flames. Position the fire blanket high and away from the body. Never move towards the flames with your face over the blanket. Always look at the ground as you make your approach. This will stop you from tripping or falling on top of the cooker fire or pulling the pan down on yourself. Cover the whole area of the fire with the fire blanket. Never remove the blanket to see if the fire has gone out. The oil will still be extremely hot, and exposing the pan to the air may reignite the fire again. It may take up to an hour to cool down. Switch off the fuel source to the cooker. Fire blankets can only be used once. Check the fire blanket at regular intervals for any damage. Teach all members of the family how to use a fire blanket. Fire blankets can also be used if a person's clothes have caught fire, or to wrap around a person if your exit is blocked by fire and you need to get through the flames. Using the same steps as before to hold the fire blanket, stop the person and wrap the blanket around them. Always ensure the blanket is kept between you and the person on fire. Flames can quickly travel upwards, therefore protection of the face and head area is very important. Then drop and roll the person to the ground, making sure all areas of clothing on fire are covered, and roll the person on the ground to extinguish the flames. Never use forceful pats or slaps to extinguish flames. In many cases, repeating pats will only cause harm, damaging burnt skin and bursting blisters. Remember, if it is not safe for you to tackle the fire, get out, get the fire brigade out, and stay out. For advice on first aid and basic life support information in regard to injuries sustained in a fire, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid.
Never leave your child alone near water. This cannot be stressed enough, as children of all ages can drown in very shallow water. Children under 1 are most at risk of drowning in the bath. It is therefore most important that you never leave baby alone at bath time and always empty bath water immediately after use. It is also important to use an anti-slip mat in the bath. Other safety risks for both babies and children are anywhere where water is present, as children can stray very quickly. This also applies to babies at creeping stage. For example, toilets, sinks, basins, and outside water collecting containers like barrels and basins, and even puddles. Water safety advice includes the following. Never leave your child alone near or with water. Never leave your child alone in the bath, even for a moment. Use an anti-slip mat in the bath and on the bathroom floor. Place safety latches on toilets. Securely cover water collecting containers. Keep protective covers on man-made pools and fence off garden streams and open water areas. Learn the emergency phone numbers 999 and 112 and teach them to your children. We strongly recommend you and your family attend and complete a first aid course. First aid courses are run in many local community areas throughout the year.
For advice on first aid and basic life support in regard to incidents involving water, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid.
Too many fatal accidents happen in Irish agriculture, and unlike other sectors, agriculture regularly kills older people and children. My sympathy goes out to all those families who have lost loved ones, but it doesn't have to be like that. Up to 90% of all fatal accidents can be prevented if farmers take simple, basic safety precautions. We need to work together to ensure that we have no more fatal accidents in Irish agriculture. Most farmers think that farms are dangerous, but the same farmers make the fatal mistake of thinking that their own farm is safe. Farming by its nature is very hazardous, and statistics show that most serious accidents occur on larger farms. The first step to farm safety is realising that an accident can happen on your farm. Thinking safety on its own isn't enough. You must also take appropriate action. Making your farm a safer place isn't just a moral duty, it is also a legal duty. Now is the time for each and every farmer to take responsibility for making his or her farm a safer environment.
As farms are homes as well as workplaces, they're a high-risk environment for children and young people. There's nothing more harrowing than a death or serious injury of a child. The safety of children must never be left to chance.
The safety of our children is very, very important to us, and that's why we put this area up. We want them to be safe and yet to be able to play, and we're aware that we're so near to the farm. My husband grew up on a farm, and he's very aware, and he is a farmer and very aware of all the dangers, and we're living right beside it, and I just felt I couldn't let them out without worrying about them and having to be out with them all the time, and that's very difficult when you've other children and you want to get things done. And so we installed the safe areas so that we could let them out and have freedom and yet be very safe. They know that this is the boundary and that's where they're meant to be, and they don't ask. Yeah. And sometimes I will go out cycling at the front of the house with them, but it's only when I'm with them, and they know that.
The safety of children must never be left to chance. Parents' responsibility. The predominant responsibility for ensuring the safety and health of children and young people rests with adults. All family members, farmers and spouses, and persons working on farms are required by law to do everything possible to ensure the safety and health of children and young people on farms. In the following analysis of fatal injuries, an adult was present where the majority of fatal injuries occurred, or the fatality could have been prevented by an intervention of an adult. Analysis of fatal injuries. An analysis of 41 fatal injuries in Ireland, both north and south, over a 6-year period from 1997 to 2002 showed the following. The majority of deaths were due to falling from or being crushed by tractors, trailers or machines, 55%. Drowning in slurry accounted for 17% of fatal injuries. Collapse of objects, such as walls or machines, accounted for 15% of deaths. The remaining 15% were due to falling trees, being kicked by an animal, fire and drowning. Most deaths occurred to children under 5 years old, 44%. 34% occurred to 6 to 10-year-olds, and 22% occurred to 11 to 16-year-olds. The majority of deaths can be prevented by ensuring that children are kept away from operating machinery and by eliminating hazards like unfenced slurry pits or securing heavy objects like gates. 95% of childhood deaths could not be prevented by emergency hospital treatment. Therefore, putting effort into primary prevention is crucial to prevent childhood deaths. Code of practice on preventing accidents to children and young persons in agriculture. A code of practice on preventing accidents to children and young persons in agriculture has been issued by the Health and Safety Authority. This gives authoritative guidance on securing safety of children and young persons on farms. The person in charge of the workplace must consider the safety and health of children when conducting a risk assessment. This assessment must include the following measures: knowing the requirements of the Code of Practice and complying with them, ensuring that a safe play area is available for young children. Children under 14 are not allowed to operate tractors or self-propelled equipment. Children over 14 will only be allowed to drive a tractor or self-propelled vehicle in line with the controls listed in the code and where formal training is provided by a competent training provider. Children under the age of 14 should be prohibited from riding on tractors, agricultural machines or trailers. As an exception, children between the ages of 7 and 16 may ride on a tractor, provided that the tractor is fitted with a properly designed and fitted passenger seat with seat belts inside a safety cab or frame. Access to all areas where there is a risk of drowning or suffocation must be prevented by secure fencing. Access to danger areas such as heights or entering enclosed pens for animals or fire traps are prevented.
International research indicates that children who attend a short course or who receive instruction on safety retain this information. They also share this knowledge with their parents, and this stimulates parents to improve safety on their farms.
A video and CD called Child Safe, Be Safe on the Farm has been sent to all national schools in rural areas. International research also shows that parents who know and understand the requirements for prevention of childhood injuries are far more likely to adopt adequate control measures compared to parents with limited knowledge.
For advice on first aid and basic life support in regard to incidents occurring on a farm, please refer to the section Basic Life Support and First Aid. There is no known cause for cot death, otherwise known as sudden infant death syndrome. But there are a few simple measures you can take to protect your baby and reduce the risk for your baby. Cot deaths have reduced by 74% since the 1980s, thanks to the Reduce the Risk guidelines, especially the advice to put babies to sleep on their backs. Remember that each year less than 1 in every 1,000 babies born in Ireland dies from sudden infant death, so please don't let worrying about it stop you from enjoying your baby's first few months. Put your baby to sleep on their back. Create a smoke-free zone for your baby at all times, including during pregnancy. Place your baby face up, face clear, with their feet to the foot of the cot and covers no higher than the shoulders. Use light, aerated blankets tucked in securely at the sides and end of cot so your baby can't wriggle down under the covers. Make sure your baby's head stays uncovered and that your baby's hands and arms are placed outside the blankets and covers. It is safest to keep your baby's cot in your bedroom for the first 6 months. If you are a smoker, sharing a bed with your baby significantly increases the risk of cot death. Do not share a bed with your baby if you are a smoker, you have drunk alcohol or taken drugs, you are excessively tired, or your baby is less than 20 weeks old. It is particularly dangerous to sleep with a baby on a sofa or armchair. Overheating increases the risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Babies can overheat because of too much bedding or clothing, or because the room is too hot. To check if your baby is too hot, look out for sweating and feel the tummy. Don't worry if hands or feet are cold, that's normal. Baby's tummy should feel warm, but not too hot. If baby's tummy feels hot or baby is sweating anywhere, then they are too hot. Room temperature should be in the range of 16 to 20 degrees centigrade, that's 62 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
1, 2, 3, say cross 4, 5, 6, say cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, say cross codes.
Remember,
1,
look for a safe place.
2,
Don't hurry, stop and wait.
3,
Look all around and listen before you cross the road. Remember,
4,
let all the traffic past you,
5,
then walking straight across you.
6, keep walking.
That's the safe cross code. Safe place, stop and wait. Safe place, stop and wait. Safe ground, look around. Listen for a traffic sound. If traffic's coming, let it pass until the road is clear at last. Then walking straight across the road.
Keep watching, that's the code.
Remember,
1,
look for a safe place.
2,
Don't hurry, stop and wait.
3,
Look all around and listen before you cross the road. Remember,
4,
let all the traffic past you,
5.
then walking straight across you.
6. Keep watching.
That's the safe cross code. That's the safe cross code. Know the safe cross code.
Know the code.
If you encounter a road collision, quickly check the injured child. Unless there is danger, treat them in the position you find them in. Do not remove the child unless absolutely necessary. Always assume that there is a neck injury in anyone who has been involved in a road traffic crash and support the head until help arrives. Do not attempt too much. Only attend to those things which can be life-threatening, such as major bleeding. Keep the injured child warm by applying any extra clothing or blankets that may be available. While waiting for the emergency services, provide constant reassurance to the child.
Put your hand.
If your child gets a cut or graze, do the following. Ensure your hands are clean. If the child's wound is dirty, clean it by rinsing it lightly under running water. Pat the wound dry using a gauze swab. If you don't have a sterile gauze, everyday items such as freshly laundered towels will do. Avoid directly touching the wound. Once the wound has been patted dry, apply a dressing. If there is a special risk of infection, such as human or animal bite, or a puncture by a dirty object, take your child to your doctor or accident and emergency department. Contact your doctor if you notice that the wound isn't healing, or you notice any redness, drainage of pus, warmth or swelling. If your child has severe bleeding, take the following action. Put on disposable gloves if available. Apply direct pressure over the wound with your fingers or palm. If your injured child is old enough, they may help you by placing direct pressure over the wound with their hand. If possible, use a sterile dressing. If this is not available, use a non-fluffy material such as a clean towel. If the wound is on a limb and you don't suspect a broken bone, raise the injured limb above the child's heart. This may help reduce blood loss. Secure the wound dressing with a bandage. If you don't have a bandage, you can improvise using common everyday items such as a scarf or t-shirt. Remember to secure the bandage firmly enough to maintain pressure, but not so tight that it restricts or stops circulation. If blankets or coats are available, cover the child. Remember, children become cold quickly. If further bleeding occurs, apply a second dressing over the first and secure in place. Dial 999 or 112 and ask for the ambulance service. Remember, the child will be frightened, so at all times provide constant reassurance. While waiting for the ambulance crew to arrive, do not allow the child to eat or drink. If your child suffers a minor burn or scald, do the following. Reassure your child. Cool the affected part by flooding it with cold water for at least 10 minutes. This will stop the burning and help relieve pain. If you don't have water readily available, you can use any cold, harmless liquids such as milk. Burns can cause swelling to the affected area, so while cooling, remove any items such as rings, watches, or any constricting material. Once the area has been cooled, cover the burn with a sterile dressing or clean, non-fluffy material. Secure the dressing in position by lightly applying a bandage. If you are at all concerned about the severity of the burn, dial 999 or 112 and ask for the ambulance service, or take your child to the nearest accident and emergency department. Remember, do not break or burst any blisters. Do not apply adhesive dressing to the area. Do not put ointments or fats on the area. They are of no value and only further increase the risk of infection and damage. If you suspect that your child has accidentally swallowed a poison, do the following. If your child is conscious and is old enough to understand and talk to you, ask them what they have swallowed. Dial 999 or 112 and ask for the ambulance service. When talking to the ambulance service, give as much information as possible about the swallowed poison. This will provide important information which will assist staff in the accident and emergency department once the child reaches hospital. Look for evidence that might help you to identify the poison, such as an empty container. Give this to the ambulance crew when they arrive. While waiting for the ambulance, constantly reassure the child. Never make the child vomit. If the child's lips are burned by corrosive substances, give the child frequent sips of cold water to cool her lips.
555-286.
Okay, thank you. What address do you need the ambulance to?
10 Foxrock Road,
Okay.
Howth.
Howth. 10 Foxrock Road. Can you just confirm that for me, please?
10 Foxrock Road, Howth.
Okay, what's the problem there?
My child is taking tablets.
Okay, are you with him at the moment?
Yes, I am.
All right. What age is he?
He's 3.5.
Okay, is he conscious?
He is.
Is he breathing?
He is, yes.
Okay, and you said he is taking tablets. Was it accidental or intentional?
Accidental.
Okay, is he completely awake?
He is.
All right. Is he breathing normally?
He is.
Okay, and do you know what type of medication or tablets he took?
They look like they're paracetamol.
Okay, so it's a medication. When did he take it?
I'm not sure. It could have been maybe 5 minutes ago.
Okay, that's fine. I'm organising help for you now. You just stay on the line and I can tell you what to do next.
Please do.
Now, okay, help is on the way. Don't give him anything to eat or drink as it might make him sick or cause problems for the doctor.
Okay.
Just allow him to rest in the most comfortable position for himself and wait for the ambulance.
Right.
If you just could watch out, just watch him very closely, and if he becomes less awake and vomits, just turn him on his side.
Okay.
Do you have any family pets in the house, like a dog
No.
or anything? No. Is the child on any medications for anything?
No.
No. Now, do you know the medication container that he took the tablets out of?
Yes.
You just give that to the paramedics when they arrive. That'd be great.
Okay.
And if the child's condition should worsen in any way, will you call me back again on 999?
I will.
Can I take the child's name, please?
It's Killian.
Killian. That's fine. Now, can you just have somebody look out for the ambulance as well, please?
I will.
Okay, the ambulance is on the way to you.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
If a baby is choking, you must act immediately to try to clear the obstruction. Do the following. First, turn the infant face down with the head lower than the body. Make sure that you support the head, jaw and neck. Using the heel of your other hand, give 5 blows between the infant's shoulders. Turn the infant onto its back while still supporting the neck and head. Place 2 fingers over the lower half of the infant's breastbone, below an imaginary line between the nipples. Give 5 chest thrusts. Keep doing 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts until the object pops out and the infant begins to breathe again. If the infant becomes unresponsive, call for help and send someone to dial 999 or 112. If you suspect your child is choking, ask the child, "Are you choking? Can you breathe?" If the child cannot breathe, talk or cough, stand or kneel behind the child. Place the flat thumb side of your fist between the child's navel and breastbone. Be sure to keep well off the breastbone. Wrap your other hand around your fist and press upwards towards the stomach. Keep doing this until the object pops out and the child begins to breathe again. If the child becomes unresponsive, gently lower the child to the floor. Call for help and send someone to dial 999 or 112. You must begin CPR. If during CPR you see the object, remove it with your fingers, but do not place your fingers in the child's mouth if you cannot see the object. First, let's look at how to perform CPR for children between 1 and 8 years of age. In this example, the rescuer is alone with the child. Remember, you must only perform CPR on a child who is in cardiac arrest. First, check for responsiveness. If you get no response, shout for help. If someone is nearby, send that person to phone 999 or 112 for an ambulance. If you are alone, you must stay with the child. Next, open the airway by doing the head tilt chin lift. Place one hand on the child's forehead and tilt the head back gently. Lift the chin by placing 2 fingers on the bony part of the child's chin. Do not put your fingers on the child's neck. Be careful that you do not tilt the head back too far. Next, check to see if the child is breathing. While holding the airway open, place your ear next to the child's mouth and nose. Look for normal rise and fall of the chest. Listen and feel for normal breathing. Take no more than 10 seconds. If the child is not breathing or is gasping, give 2 rescue breaths. Keep the airway open and pinch the nose shut. Place your mouth completely over the child's mouth. Give rescue breaths lasting about 1 second each. Look for chest rise with each breath. If the chest does not rise, reopen the airway and try again. Remember, it is important to give 2 good breaths to make the chest rise. Next, start chest compressions. Keep the child's head tilted back and place the heel of your other hand on the lower half of the child's breastbone. Do not press on the very bottom of the breastbone. Keep your elbow straight and make sure your shoulder is directly over your hand. Give 30 compressions in a row. Compress the chest about 1/3 to 1/2 of the depth of the child's chest. Ensure that you allow the chest to come back to its normal place after each compression, but keep the heel of your hand on the chest. Press the chest at a rate of at least 100 compressions per minute. After every 30 compressions, give 2 rescue breaths. Complete this cycle of 30 compressions and 2 rescue breaths for 2 minutes. If you are alone now, go and dial 999 or 112. After phoning for help, begin CPR again. Let's look at how to perform CPR for infants. In this example, the rescuer is alone with the infant. Remember, you must only do CPR on an infant who is in cardiac arrest. First, check for responsiveness.
Help! Somebody help!
If you get no response, shout for help. If somebody is nearby, send that person to phone 999 or 112. Next, open the airway by doing the head tilt chin lift. Place one hand on the baby's forehead and tilt the head back gently. Lift the chin by placing 1 or 2 fingers on the bony part of the baby's chin. Do not put your fingers on the baby's neck. Be careful that you do not tilt the head back too far, as you may block the airway. Next, check to see if the infant is breathing. While holding the airway open, place your ear next to the infant's mouth and nose. Look for the normal rise and fall of the chest. Listen and feel for normal breathing. Take no more than 10 seconds. If the infant is not breathing or is gasping, give 2 rescue breaths. Keep the airway open. Place your mouth completely over the infant's mouth and nose. Give 2 rescue breaths, lasting 1 second each. Look for chest rise with each breath. If the chest does not rise, reopen the airway and try again. Remember, it is important to give 2 good breaths to make the chest rise. Next, start chest compressions. Keep the infant's head tilted back. Place 2 fingers of one hand on the centre of the infant's breastbone below an imaginary line between the infant's nipples. Do not press on the very bottom of the breastbone. Give 30 compressions in a row. Compress the chest about 1/3 to 1/2 of the depth of the child's chest. Ensure that you allow the chest to come back to its normal place after each compression, but keep fingers lightly on the chest. Press the chest at a rate of at least 100 compressions per minute. After every 30 compressions, give 2 rescue breaths. Complete this cycle of 30 compressions and 2 rescue breaths for about 2 minutes.
Hello, operator. I need the ambulance service.
Now dial 999 or 112 for help and begin CPR again. If the child is not injured, but is unconscious and breathing, place in the recovery position. Continually check that the airway remains open and the child is breathing while waiting for the ambulance. Do you know how to call for an ambulance? It's really easy, but must only be done in an emergency. The call is always free, whether you phone from your home telephone, mobile phone, or a public phone. If someone you know is ill or has been hurt, just follow these steps. Dial 999 or 112 and you will be connected to an operator who will ask you whether you want an ambulance, the Gardaí, or the fire brigade.
Hello, ambulance emergency.
Hello, my granny has fallen.
Okay, your granny has fallen. Can you give me the telephone number, please?
5010321.
Okay, can you give me that again, please?
5010321.
Okay.
What address do you need the ambulance at?
13 Dugais, Raheny.
Okay, good man. So give me that again, just in case we get cut off.
13 Dugais, Raheny.
Okay, what's the problem?
She had fallen.
Okay, she has fallen. What age is your granny?
80.
Okay, are you with her at the moment?
No.
Is she conscious? Is she awake?
She's conscious.
Okay. Is she breathing?
Yes.
Okay. What caused the fall?
She tripped over a stone.
Okay. What's your name?
Connor.
I'm going to ask you a few more questions, Connor. How far did she fall?
Not very.
Is she completely awake?
No.
All right. Is she breathing normally?
Yes.
Okay. What part of her body is injured?
Her legs.
Okay. Is there any serious bleeding?
No.
Okay. When did this happen?
A few minutes ago.
Okay, that's the end of the questions, Connor. I'm just going to tell you what to do next. We're organising help. We'll get an ambulance on the way to you. You just stay on the line with me and I'll tell you what to do next. Help is on the way. Don't give her anything to eat or drink, as it might make her sick or cause problems for the doctor.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Don't move her unless she's in any danger, and do not splint any injuries. Allow her to rest in the most comfortable position for herself and wait for the ambulance to arrive. Will you just watch her very closely, and if she becomes less awake and vomits, will you turn her on her side?
Yep.
Good man.
Connor, do you have any dogs or pets in the house?
No.
Okay. Is your granny on any medication at all?
Yes.
She is. Do you know what?
No.
No, that's okay. Well, when the paramedics arrive, will you tell them where that medication is?
Yeah.
All right, good man. And if your granny is in any further danger until the ambulance arrives, you can call me back again on 999.
Okay.
Okay. What's your granny's name?
Molly.
Okay. Connor, I'm going to let you go back to your granny now. Okay, you were very good.
The ambulance will be on the way to you shortly.
Bye.
The key message where child safety is concerned is watch your child closely as they are not aware of danger. Make your children's world as safe as possible by child-proofing your home and surrounding area. Doing this will greatly help to prevent unintentional injuries and promote child safety. Teach your child from an early age to think safe and include them in safety practices. As stated in the introduction, we also recommend strongly the following pieces of advice. Learn the emergency phone numbers 999 and 112 and teach them to your children. Also, teach them their own address and home telephone number. We strongly advise that you and your family attend and complete a first aid course. First aid courses are delivered in many local community areas throughout the year. For more details on first aid courses in your area, please contact the Order of Malta, the Irish Red Cross, St John's Ambulance, Irish Heart Foundation, the Civil Defence, your local health service executive ambulance service, or the public health nurse in your local health centre. The greatest way of passing on safety advice to your child is to lead by example. Put in place the many different types of child safety equipment that is available to buy that can help keep your children safe. Here's a checklist of child safety equipment available in many retail outlets throughout the country. To obtain a copy of this checklist, contact your local health promotion unit or the public health nurse in your local health centre. Enjoy sharing these wonderful early years with your children as they explore their world and make their world a safe world.
We provide advice on the safe use of electricity in the home, so you know how to handle it with care. ESB Customer Supply, caring for you and your electricity supply.